if you want to sell a painting, there are some steps that I do to the back as well, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my Fluid Art channel, and thank you so much for stopping by. So today I'm going to show you how I finish a painting. So you've seen lots of videos of me doing a painting, and I show you a close-up at the end, and that's usually when I have finished the actual painting part. But there are several other steps that have to happen before you sell a painting. So the first one is to varnish it, which I've just done. Doesn't that look amazing? I love how paintings pop when they're varnished. The other thing that I did, which is actually before the varnishing, was I added my artist mark here to the corner. Now, ever since I've been painting, I've been signing the back of my canvases, so all of my work is signed, but recently I've decided I'm making some pretty good stuff and I want my artist mark to be on the front as well. So that's already done, that's underneath the varnish. But if you want to sell a painting, there are some steps that I do to the back as well, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So let's get to it. So let's flip over the painting. As you can see, it still has the tape and everything on it. I always tape the back of my canvases to keep it nice and clean. And I put thumbtacks into my canvas to hold it up off the surface of the table. It makes it easy to handle and to scrape the drips off. So pull out those thumbtacks, and then let's get this tape up. And you can use any size of tape. For certain canvases, you want to use a wider tape. This one is not a particularly high quality canvas. It's not, it's just back stapled. And so I used my 1-inch tape instead of the 1.5-inch or 2-inch tape. But still, you can see how clean that is coming up. So it just looks much more professional if you've got a nice clean edge. Sometimes the paint will still bleed a little bit under the tape, but you keep the majority off. Also, I don't take the tape off until after I've varnished. That way you don't have big varnish smears on the back of your canvas either. Sometimes the paint doesn't pull up that easily, but this time was great. Very, very easy. All right, the next thing that I do is I sign it. So I usually put my name here on the bottom left, and then I put the date on the bottom right. So for this, you just need some paint. I usually use leftover fluid paint, and you could use a Sharpie, you could use a paint pen. I like using a brush and the paint because I sign in cursive, and that way I can use whatever color was one of the main colors in the painting. So for this one I'm going to use black, but depending on your painting you might be using pink or green or blue or whatever, and that way the signature on the back matches the painting on the front. So this one has a lot of space, so I'm going to sign it fairly big. On the nice canvases that are splined, sometimes you have less than 1/2 inch to work in, and so it's a very small signature, but on back stapled you have a little bit more space. All right, so there's my name, and now on this side I put the date. And because fluid paintings, they often take more than one day to create. Like this one was over the course of, I painted the background, and then a few weeks later I painted the wings, and then a couple weeks after that I painted the brush painted stuff. So I just do the month, usually the month that I complete the painting, or the month that I do the bulk of it. So this one was August 2024, so I'm just going to put an 8/24. Okay, signing is done, so that's very easy, and I usually do that to all of my paintings, and that way if somebody buys one of your paintings, it's easy for them to tell, when did you make this? And anyway, let me clean my brush, and then I'll come and show you how I put the wire on the back. All right, how to hang the canvas up. Now, there are people who do this differently. Sometimes people use the little like sawtooth things that you just screw into the top of your canvas. And those are great, except then the canvas doesn't hang flat on the wall. It kind of sticks out at the top, which I personally don't like. So I like to do a wire inset inside the canvas. So some people, they put like paper on the back of their canvas and they put the little sawtooth thing, and that makes a very neat look. It's just not what I prefer. So what I like doing is I get some of these screw eyes. So I get these from Home Depot. These are number 216, which is a good size, a good overall size for the paintings that I do. If you do really big, heavy canvases, you might want something bigger, and if you do a lot of really small canvases, you might want something smaller. But this is a good average size. And then this is the wire that I usually use, the Hillman 20-pound twisted painting wire. And I've written up here Lowe's because I usually buy it at Lowe's. And I go to Home Depot more often, so this just reminds me, when I'm low on this, go to Lowe's, not Home Depot. So this is Home Depot, this is Lowe's. You can buy wherever you want, but these are the ones that I've kind of settled on. So then, this is my very high-tech ruler system. This is actually math manipulatives that one of my kids used when they were young. It's just these little stacking blocks, and I started using them one day, and they're great for this because you can easily adjust, you know, your size based on your canvases. So instead of having to use a ruler, I just use these cubes. And they're multicolored because I just used what was on hand. So then I take a thumbtack and just make like a sort of a guiding hole. You push it in as far as you can. Sometimes you can't get it in very far, but okay, so that's 5 cubes down. And then over on this side, I do the same. You want to make sure that your hooks are in the top half of your canvas. Like, you don't want your wire to be right in the middle. That would be floppy and strange. But you also don't want it to be way high up. So in the upper half, actually, if I had had another cube, I probably would have done it a little bit further down, but this is fine. So now I'm going to take a couple of these eye hooks and screw those into the holes that I've made. There we go. Now I'm going to spin the canvas to make it easier for me to put the next one in. Okay, got my hooks in. Now it's time for the wire. So you want 2 to 3 inches of wire on each side of the hook so that you have plenty to twist around. So then you kind of get it centered. Make sure you have about the same on each side. And then you twist it around. There we go. Now, here's another time that I use these things. So maybe you can find something equally silly but useful. I use these to measure so that I have like equal distance from the wire to the top of the canvas. That makes it easier if you're hanging up multiple paintings and you know that like if the nails are at the same height, the canvases are going to hang at the same height. So for this one, I'm going to use 2 cubes. Sometimes I just use 1. So I tighten the wire until when I press down on it, it reaches whatever height I want. And then I kind of pinch it here and then go ahead and twist. There we go. We got a wire. It's signed. This painting is ready to sell. Thanks for joining me as I show you how I finish the back of my canvases. I hope it gives you some ideas maybe for your paintings. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!